Folks at home, welcome back to the 5-acre pond build, and if you missed any of the previous videos in this series, I'll put a link down in the description below. But last week we finished installing all of the structure and even got some cool custom signs made for Bonnie and Clyde and some of the other structure. But this week one of the last steps in building this pond is adding our emergency spillway. So we had the pond builders bring some equipment back in, and typically you would build an emergency spillway with riprap. But they had something they recommended that they've used on previous ponds, and it's called Fleximat. And it's really easy to install. He's just basically using the forks on this machine to roll this big mat out down the spillway. Alright folks, we just got the emergency spillway installed, and I believe they call this stuff Fleximat, but it's really cool because most of the time people put riprap in here, and this would be all just rocks scattered throughout. But one of the big advantages of having this is everything's attached together by that fiber mesh cloth. And what that does, it allows grass to grow up through it to kind of help hold it in place, but it also keeps all these sections together. So now you're not going to lose a section or a rock down your spillway like you could with a heavy rain from a hurricane potentially. That vertical standpipe sets the water line, so the water is going to be about where that grass is, and if water ever starts flowing so fast down that pipe that it can't handle it all the water is going to exit right here going out the spillway. And the overall goal of this and that pipe is to keep water from going over the dam. If it ever goes over the dam could potentially fail, and then all the fish would end up in the creek. So in the last video I went around marking all of the structure piles with these green buoys, and I had several people in the comments say you missed a good opportunity to use duck decoys instead of the buoys. And that's one of the things I love about sharing these videos with you, because you guys give me a lot of good feedback and ideas like that. Duck decoys would look 100% better than these buoys, so we're going to be adding those later in this video. But speaking of ducks, our daughter Sarah has been wanting pet ducks for the past year, and what better animal could you have as a pet when you build a pond than a duck? So we specifically built this island so the ducks would have a place to roost at night and keep them safe from the coyotes and bobcats. But just a couple weeks ago we found out that the owls are using the island as a hunting ground, and owls are also a big predator of ducks, plus we have a bunch of hawks that are out on the property basically every day. So we've almost got every predator known to ducks on this farm, so before we get our pet ducks, I feel like the first thing we have to do is get them a place that is 100% safe to roost at night. And it just so happens that I know a guy that builds custom duck houses. Alright folks, the duck house has arrived and I'm pretty excited about it. Tell me that isn't one of the most decked out, coolest chicken slash duck coops you've ever seen. I mean, it basically has all the bells and whistles with a automatic feeder, automatic water, reinforced windows. It's basically 99.9% predator proof. We're going to talk more about that in just a minute. So our daughter Sarah is on the way. We're about to surprise her with this, and then I'm going to let her give you the full tour. Alright Sarah, see her, close your eyes. She's going to be so excited. Alright, open them up. Yay, that's big, isn't it? You want to get in it?
Hey, but can we go in that way?
Yeah, you want to go in that and climb up?
We can go in all of it. And I want to climb in the little mini door.
Yeah.
Do that?
This is your duck house where you get to take care of all your ducks. And we got a Sarah-sized door over here. This may turn into Sarah and the ducks' tree house. Sarah's giving it a good washing, and then she's going to give you all a tour. Alright, Sarah said before we bring in the ducks, she's going to have a picnic in the duck house. So she's got everything set up. But just a quick look at it. Show them the little cubby holes right there where the ducks can get in there and lay eggs if they wanted to. They could roost up here at night. That's the exit to the rest of the pen. And then here's the duck boxes. 3 different duck boxes.
Boo.
Boo. Now let's talk about how predator proof it is. So there's no way that a coyote or a raccoon or anything is going to get through any of that. So the last thing we have to do is make the ground level predator proof where they can't dig up under it. So I got some 16 gauge fencing. So we're basically going to lay it out around the perimeter of it and then trench it in right there. So if they try to dig down anywhere between here and 3 feet of the structure, they won't be able to get through this fencing. And we got everything level on the corners. So the front and sides of it are all level. Once we get the fencing down, we're also going to add some more dirt inside to level all that off. And one other really cool feature that I like about this is whenever they get too hot, they can either go inside of their house or they can go under their house and completely get out of the sun. So they should love it, but I have a feeling that most of the time during the day, the ducks are going to be out there in the pond playing in the water. Alright, we're predator proof in the bottom of it so the coyotes can't dig up under it. I've got everything cut out, 3-foot sections right here. One little trick I learned is that if you cut one of these sections at the end here, you can use it and wrap it around your other section. And that way it'll be continuous throughout. Alright, Sarah helped us get our fencing in just like we like it. Everything's up under the boards. Now we got some fresh Alabama farm dirt we're about to use to cover it all up. So the grass is looking really good, but I'm going to explain why I planted Bahia grass and brown top millet. So this down here is the Bahia grass, barely maybe 2 inches tall. And this is probably knee high. And brown top millet is one of the fastest growing things I've ever seen. You can see it's already starting to come to seed. And now all that seed will fall off and create new millet that's going to grow up. But that really helps keep the erosion in check, and it gives your other grasses time to establish and grow. You can see even down there inside of all of that millet, that Bahia is still taking off. So unfortunately, we're still a little bit too late in the year probably for this Bahia to really take over and keep the erosion in check. So we're going to come in and plant some winter ryegrass that should last us throughout the winter. But now we're going to go take a look at the back side of the dam over there where the hurricane caused the worst erosion. So this is the worst erosion that was caused by that hurricane, but for some reason the seed didn't really take right here in this one particular area. And you can see it did really good all the way down the rest of the dam. We also have that fallen tree. I'm about to cut the tops out of it with a chainsaw and drag it off into the pond. But you can see, you definitely don't want spots like that are 1 foot to 2 foot deep, because what's gonna happen is that water is gonna constantly fall down in there and it's just gonna keep eroding and everything's gonna get worse and worse. So basically all I'm gonna do is go down there where all the dirt washed, scoop it up with a shovel and put it in a bucket, bring it back up here, get it real packed in tight, and then reseed it pretty heavily. That was probably the easiest pieces of structure I put in the pond. Just drug it over the dam. Alright, we got all the dirt spread out nice and evenly. Now it's time to go in and seed it. We got Liz here. She's going to be throwing out brown top millet because that's what we put all around the pond. You can see it grows really good in this area and really fast. But I'm almost positive that ducks eat brown top millet, which is good. I don't know, maybe duck owners and duck hunters comment down below, but I'm pretty sure we'll plant them some nice millet in here and that'll give them a little bit extra to eat on. Alright, the last thing I want to talk about with the new duck house is this door. So the main reason we got this is to protect them at night, and I really don't want them to be stuck in here throughout the day, especially once the pond fills up. I want them to spend all their time out there at the pond in the day and then just come here at night. So one thing I've thought about doing is making this an automatic door, either basing it on a photo cell or a timer. And what I'd like to do is put in a rail here and a rail there and make it a sliding door that goes up and down based on daylight. So they make existing kits out there that do something like this, but me being a controls engineer, this will be a fun job. So I think I'm going to plan on programming something that will open the door at daylight and then close it shortly after dark. Sarah's going to put her first decoy in. Put his head up, head facing up.
Why?
There you go. That's the way he floats. All right, that's good right there. Just drop him, throw him in. Good job. All right. Throw him on out there. Give him a push. Good job. Looks just like a real duck, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It may attract some other real ducks. Next step is to tie them off. Right now, Sarah just wants to get them in the water. All right, I'm out here replacing the old buoys with the duck decoys. I'm just using a little rope to tie it off and let them float. Got the mallard hen on this wood pile. I'm going to do the tunnels next. All right, the tunnel is complete, and this is my favorite one because there's a lot of open area out here for the duck to float in. I think that's called the feeding duck. But some of you duck hunters out here, what do you tie it off with? That white floating rope just doesn't seem natural, but I know that most of the rope's going to be underwater once it gets full. Leave me a comment down below if there's something better to tie it off with. Unfortunately, this duck doesn't have any water to float in. Neither does that one, so it looks like it's roosting over there on the shade shack. Now let's see what kind of animals are hanging out around the pond this week. First up, we got a couple of bucks walking through. This first one, I believe, is that non-typical looking one that's got the double main beam. But this time of year, they're in bachelor groups, and if you see one, you're probably going to see another one. And there's another nice buck. And you can see we got a lot of deer out there in the peanut field eating those. They are almost ready for harvest. And a couple more walk through to take a drink out of the pond. I am happy to see that all these animals are using it. And check this out flying in from the right. I believe it's a hawk, but it could be one of those owls. He flies from one woodpile to the other, probably checking out those duck decoys. So we just finished getting the duck house completely ready, so I sent Liz and Sarah to a farm to pick out a couple ducks, which might have been a mistake because they have chickens, baby chicks, even little pigs running around, and I know they easily get distracted.
Mommy, can we get one of the bunnies too?
But after looking at a wide variety of mallards, muscovies, geese, and even turkeys, they finally picked out a couple and they're bringing them home. Alright, Sarah, is it time to show everybody our new pet ducks? Here they are. We got two mallards, a drake and a hen. They got pretty colors. You can see the mallard sitting there talking to us already. But they might be a little bit scared, so we're not going to do much with them right now. He's just talking. That's silent quacks. So this pair isn't quite a year old yet. You can see the drake hadn't even fully got the green head yet, but we're about to take them out and put them in their new pen and introduce them to their new pond, but unfortunately that's going to happen in the next video. But you guys know how we like to do it. I'll let you name all of our pets. So now we need a name for the boy and the girl duck. So leave a comment down below on what you think we should name the new pet ducks, and you'll be seeing them enter the pond and their new home in the next video. So we had also planned on building the dock for the pond this week, but the dock builder is 1 week behind, so you'll be seeing that in next week's video. Now let's check out some of these game camera videos, and the one thing that's been consistent on this farm is that the bucks are going to be in the soybean plot. It's almost guaranteed that every morning they're going to come through. We're starting to see some nicer bucks, and they are keeping the beans mowed down. And it is funny that around 80% of the deer that come through are bucks, and I'm not sure if they just like the soybeans more than the does or what it is. And now it's time for some guaranteed topwater explosions. Let's feed Moby. College game day coming up. Got to pick some of these peanuts to have an old southern peanut bowl. All right, my sister Lauren's going to give us a secret family recipe. We actually call her Peanut because she's cooked so many peanuts.
We're going to add chili peppers, about a cup of salt, boil them for an hour, and then soak them for an hour.
And that's right, folks. The soak time is key on getting all that flavor in there. The chili peppers will spice it up. We call them hotties. All right, folks, that's going to wrap up this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can follow along and watch our 2 new pet ducks enter the pond next week. Here's a quick glimpse of what you're going to see. And also, to celebrate the pond completion, we decided to send a rocket to the moon because it seemed like the perfect thing to do. Hope y'all enjoyed this video, and we will see you all next time.